Right, I'm Julie. I am the co-founder and co-director of Wicked Wolf Gin. There's only two of us anyway, just me and my husband Pat, so that's an easy one. My history in the world is 20 years in London in branding design. And we moved into the chapel here about 15 years ago. We wanted to do something together. We wanted to work together, and we wanted to work from home. And after many discussions about other projects we could launch, we decided to launch Wicked Wolf Gin. And it started out, we both did other jobs, and we produced gin on the side, thinking that we'd do about 30 bottles, 60 bottles a week maybe, see how it went. And prior to lockdown, we were doing some weeks 700 bottles. Just the two of us, and yes, that was jolly hard work. What we aim to do is produce a gin that you could really, really taste. It's all about the flavour, especially on the original gin. It's all about our mix of botanicals that go in. We use 11 different botanicals, and we've got a real focus on the Asian side of things. So we use cardamom, kaffir lime, lemongrass, hibiscus, and we aimed for loads and loads of flavour, so that when you drown it with tonic, you can still taste my gin. Yeah, we wanted to produce a smooth gin as well, a sipping gin. So that even on the Silver Bullet, which is 57%, a lot of people just like to drink it with a block of ice and won't put tonic in it, because it won't grab you there, because it's a really smooth gin. But yeah, I mean, we aim to produce a good gin, but we also aim to make a living, to be honest. Gin was taking off at the time. Popularity was very much taking off after the laws changed a few years ago, so you could make gin in small quantities, and hence we have a huge renaissance in this country of gin making, of artisan gin makers, because you can produce it in small quantities now. Part of it was because that was taking off, and also we love gin. We drink gin. We like to think we know gin. We'll try any and every gin, and we wanted to produce something that people would feel passionate about, like we do.
So, our process is very different from 99% of the other distillers out there. So, majority of distillers will use a one-shot process. And what they do is they have their still, they will fill it with neutral alcohol, which normally comes in at around about 96.5-0.6%. And then they water it down, and you normally water it down to about 70 or 80%. They then use the botanicals that they want to use in their recipe, and they load up their still. So your juniper will go in there, your cardamom will go in there, or whatever you're using, your recipe will go in there. Then you start the still going. The still will heat up, the vapour starts coming off, goes into the onion head, down the swan arm, into the condenser. The condenser's cooling, and as it's cooling, that vapour turns into alcohol, with all that flavour being carried through. And then you collect it at the other end, and it usually comes out anywhere between 80 and 90%. And then you water it down to whatever ABV you want to sell it at. That might be you want a 42% gin, 40% gin, or whatever it is. That's what you water it down to. Our process takes a lot longer than that. So we distill each botanical individually, and we use, for our Exmoor gin, we use 11 botanicals. So we distill all 11 botanicals one by one. So we do 11 distillations, running it, putting the stuff in there, running it through the still, collecting it at the bottom end 11 times. So we'll grab our juniper, coriander, hibiscus, kaffir lime leaves, all of them, and then we blend it. And once we blend it to our recipe, then we water it down with distilled water to our 42%. And that's our process. It's slower. We run our stills as slow as we possibly can, so it's a longer process for us. So if we had to start again, it'd be a good 2, maybe 2.5 weeks before we get our first batch out. So each botanical has its own unique boiling point, and the reason we run each one separately is because of that. If we put it all together, you are potentially just averaging out the boiling point of all those lovely botanicals. So you're going to miss out on some stuff at the beginning of the distillation when it starts coming out, and some at the end, and you need those to give you the full gamut of flavour in the botanicals. That's why we run each one individually. So when you're running juniper, that comes out at a certain temperature. When you're running coriander, that's a certain temperature that starts giving off all its flavours. But you grab the whole gamut as best you can, and then you blend it, and that way you get that fuller flavour. And that gives us that gin, which if you want to put a whole bottle of tonic in, you can still taste that gin, because we've caught that full flavour of each botanical. It's flavourful, it doesn't hold anything back. It really doesn't hold anything back. You're going to get a gin that is full of flavour, and you'll want more and more and more. It's just a lovely drink. You know, it's made with love.